Well, I'm excited that you've joined me for another episode of Marking the Times. This is Dr. Mark Hitchcock. Again, we're here at Faith Bible Church in Edmond, Oklahoma. And it's been exciting to receive questions from so many of you and feedback from you all. I know that a lot of you are going to our Facebook page and going to our website, marklhitchcock.com. One of the things I'm excited to let you all know about is I'm going to be in Israel here in a few weeks, and I'm going to be posting teachings I'm going to be doing over in Israel on my website at marklhitchcock.com. So I'm going to be spending some time at Megiddo. I'll give a teaching there in the valley of Megiddo, the valley of Armageddon, the southern steps there in the city of Jerusalem where Jesus stood and taught, teaching from the Garden of Gethsemane, Caesarea Philippi where Jesus made the great statement, or Peter makes the great statement about Jesus, you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. So really looking forward to our trip to Israel, but we'll be sending back some really good teachings I think you'll enjoy. Again, those will be on our website. Now, one of the questions I've received from someone on Facebook was a question about Daniel chapter 8 and Antiochus Epiphanes. Now, if you know anything about the book of Daniel, in Daniel chapter 7 through 12, really the dominant character there in the book of Daniel is this coming world ruler. He's identified by several different titles. In chapter 7 of the book of Daniel, he's called this little horn. In chapter 9, he's called the coming prince, or the prince who is to come. In chapter 11 and verse 36, he's called the willful king, or the king who does according to his will. So he really kind of dominates that last part of the book of Daniel. But in chapter 8 of Daniel, we're introduced to a character here who's described, and he's called a small horn. And it says he's going to grow great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the beautiful land. That's in Daniel chapter 8 and verse 9. But it goes on and describes him later. And down in verse 23, it says, in the latter period of their rule, when the transgressors have run their course, a king will rise, insolent, skilled in intrigue, and by his power will be mighty, but not by his own power. He will destroy to an extraordinary degree and prosper and perform his will. He'll destroy mighty men and the holy people. Down in verse 25, he'll destroy many while they're at ease. He will even oppose the prince of princes, and he will be broken without human agency. And the vision of the evenings and the mornings, which we've told, is true. But keep the vision secret, for it pertains to many days in the future. Now, we have this prophecy here, and there's different views about who this is referring to. Some people believe it's referring to the ruler in the Seleucid Empire. That's in where we have modern-day Syria. A Seleucid king. He was called Antiochus IV, but he was known as Antiochus Epiphanes, a great persecutor of the Jewish people. Many people believe that this prophecy was completely fulfilled in the past in Antiochus Epiphanes, in Antiochus IV. Other people read Daniel chapter 8, and they believe this prophecy is totally future, that it's all about the coming final world ruler, the Antichrist. And there's good merit for that, because, again, we've met this person in chapter 7. We meet him again in chapter 9 and chapter 11. The view that I take is kind of a view between both of those. I think chapter 8 of the book of Daniel is talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. I believe he's this Seleucid ruler, persecuted the Jewish people, was a blasphemer, saw himself as deity or as a god. So I think it's about Antiochus Epiphanes, but I think Antiochus Epiphanes serves as a type or a foreshadow of what the ultimate Antichrist will be like. He's a picture for us. So with this chapter here surrounded by these other chapters about the Antichrist, I think it's talking about this historical figure that we know as Antiochus Epiphanes. But again, it foreshadows what the ultimate Antichrist will be like. And the only person in the Bible who is a type or a foreshadow that tells us and shows us what this coming final world ruler, the Antichrist, will be like is this historical ruler, Antiochus Epiphanes. Again, he was in the 2nd century BC, around 170 BC, or somewhere around in that period of time. And so he's the one that was involved with the whole origin of Hanukkah and the Maccabees and all of that whole period of time. So I hope that's helpful for maybe those of you who've wondered about Daniel chapter 8 and Antiochus Epiphanes and the Antichrist. In fact, it's interesting, Antiochus Epiphanes is sometimes called the Old Testament Antichrist. So he serves as this picture or foreshadow of this coming ruler that we see the world really prepared for today.